Thank you, everyone, for joining. This is intended to be a fireside chat, so we all want some hot cider and mulling spices this time of year. Look, winning in business is synonymous with winning in analytics, and unlike many people have perceived, you don't have to have massive resources and be a Fortune 100 company to succeed and put data to purpose in your organization. It does take a culture, it does take a process, and it does take a platform. And the culture, as many of you know, is difficult to develop because it takes courage. Courage to let the data do the talking, courage to find data that doesn't support your hypothesis, courage to ask difficult questions, even if you know they're hard to answer. I believe, and our team believes, that winning in analytics isn't about just creating reports and dashboards. It's about putting more data in decisions and understanding what dark data exists inside your company that isn't being used, that should be used to predict future outcomes. And this is some of the foundation and the reason that we developed a solution for our Oracle Cloud applications called Fusion Analytics. Good morning, good afternoon, welcome. My name is Rich Clayton. I'm going to be your host for today. I look after the product strategy for analytics at Oracle, and I'm honored to spend some time with you. Outside of work, like a few of my colleagues here, which I'm going to introduce you to in a bit, I dedicate a bunch of my time at teaching young professionals about analytics because not enough people are interested in the topic. And I started the program at Cal Poly and teaching the MBA at University of Oregon. So the purpose for today's webcast is to bring you some stories from the front lines, answer some questions. Over the last 3 months, I've met with 100 customers around the world, talking about analytics, getting their feedback. And I'm trying to put together some of those questions and answer those for you today. We're going to provide you a brief overview of what our strategy is. And most importantly, you're going to hear from 3 of our product experts in supply chain, in human capital management, and customer experience. So some of the questions that I hope we anticipate and hope to answer for you today is, how is Fusion Analytics different from BI tools? What business content do we have today? Where are we headed? What's some of the futures? How do we bring in data outside of Oracle Cloud applications? How does it fit within a broader data architecture? These are just a glimpse of some of the questions that I've been hearing. So before we jump into the content, we're going to make this an interactive chat. We have a variety of questions we'd like your input on, and that's going to help gauge our comments for today. So to facilitate that, Maddie Wilson on my team is going to ask a few questions. Maddie, we'll take the first one and over to you. So I'll just read it. So if you're not looking at your screen, you can at least quickly look at it and respond. My organization is looking at to analytics in order to identify unexpected outcomes on business performance, what's happening and why, highlight new opportunities for growth, develop a culture and increase collaboration between multiple different lines of business and departments, or try to preempt some market dynamics that you anticipate coming, or it could be all of the above. So,
well, the answers are still rolling in, but I think the vast majority look like all of the above is where they're going. I will poll.
Oh, that's a cheat. We should have taken all of the above out.
Yes, I was being nice, wasn't I? Let me end poll and share the results with you all.
Awesome.
There we go. So 66% next to all of the above.
Wow. Followed by unexpected business performance. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm kind of surprised that the culture piece was low, because to me, I have found that to be a pretty important piece of success in developing a culture. But perhaps you feel like you have a good culture and looking to expand and build on that. All right, so thank you for that feedback. Just to quickly level set, what is Fusion Analytics? Fusion Analytics is a pre-built, ready to go analytic and data platform. it is not just a business intelligence tool, but rather a connected data platform for bringing all the data in your Oracle Cloud applications into an analytic environment for self-service. Now, it's extensible by you and automated by us. So unlike tools where you build it yourself, we manage the data pipelines on your behalf, which means you could spend more time figuring out what the data is telling you and not writing ETL and managing a bunch of jobs and projects to provision data for self-service. And it's also personalized for different job roles. So we have taken a best practice approach to identify what are the key metrics folks are interested in, and how do we personalize those for every job function inside a company. I'm not going to talk much here, so I'm going to just go through 5 key points in terms of our strategy, and then I'm going to turn it over and facilitate a discussion with our product leaders here joining you today. So a couple things. Number one, we're doing this to create business value, not to create just cool technology. And what that means is that we intend to continuously innovate that content to help you achieve the business goals that you have, whether it be in supply chain, whether it be in cash flow management, whether it be investing in your most powerful asset, your people, whether it be building intelligence around the revenue cycle. Whatever the case may be, our objective is to create more value and also to create an experience that you love. And now it's a funny word with Oracle, but our organization has really transformed how we engage and support you. And I'll explain a little bit about that as we go. We continue to innovate our content across all the pillars. We're developing machine learning models in the platform to help you predict future outcomes, not for your data scientists, but for all your business consumers. And finally, the platform underneath Fusion Analytics is really a powerful solution to help innovate. And we'll show you some examples there. In terms of business value, we're just over 460 customers around the world. I've had a chance to meet most of those over the last year. Arconic in the aluminum industry uses our solution in the hire to retire process. Fabulous story, also available on oracle.com. Corsair makes gaming platforms. You can imagine with the chip shortage from Hong Kong and from the Far East, the challenge there. They used Oracle Analytics and our stack to predict disruptions. And I was just meeting with dunnhumby last week in London. Great customer using it across finance, HR, supply chain, procurement. Our customer there told me, he said, absolutely magnificent. We went live with one module in 48 hours. Couldn't believe it. So that's business value is speed. In terms of the customer experience, this isn't a stop, drop, and roll. We are with you from beginning till you realize value. And what I mean by that is that we have programs and a resource model to help on many different dimensions. One of the programs that we developed 3 years ago is called the Oracle Analytics Leaders Forum. It's gotten industry awards in terms of its success, has over 550 people in it. And it's a peer-to-peer forum for sharing best practices, challenges, and approaches across every industry and across every geography in the world. The business content that we have today, this screenshot's about 3 months old, now has over 2,000 pre-built metrics and 70 some subject areas for all lines of business. We're going to dive into that today. I won't belabor that. And a lot more is coming. You're going to hear from our experts, not only about what use cases we address today, but what use cases we intend to tackle in the future. Ultimately, it's not about reports and dashboards. It's about using analytics for the heavy lifting to predict some of the most difficult challenges. In the healthcare industry, I've been spending quite a bit of my time. Nursing shortage and just general challenge in retaining people because of the burnout from the pandemic is job one. You know, there is no mission without care providers, and if we can't retain care providers. So how do we predict that burnout before it happens? How do we ensure we have diversity of our workforce before we have problems? How do we understand our skill gaps? These are just a few of the things we intend to develop as pre-built predictive models into our application. Why? Because we're going to have all the data in a single place, and it's that connected data that's powerful for machine learning algorithms to do predictions. The last thing, and then we're going to switch gears, is the platform underneath Fusion Analytics is called Oracle Analytics Cloud. It's batteries included, meaning there's no separate thing you purchase or license or configure or worry about. But it's amazing. It allows you to develop all kinds of really powerful data stories like you see here. I'm a beer fan, not necessarily a wine, so I don't really know much about what the wine story here is. But the point is that your imagination is the limits and the boundaries for what types of stories you can tell with our platform. These are out of the box, using out of the box capabilities within the platform underneath Fusion Analytics Warehouse. So before I introduce you to our first panelist today, Maddie, you want to just
absolutely
fire away?
This poll is another nice one, multiple choice, about which roles you would see gaining value from having access to HCM Analytics.
It's a trick question. I'll just add.
No, there's no all of the above. Oh, there isn't all of the above. Oh God. I've done it again.
That's the cheat. They're gonna say all of the above.
Oh, well, you say that. We'll wait till the results.
All right.
I'll give everyone a couple more minutes. Fabulous. Thank you for keeping those coming in, guys. I'll let us get to 50.
Okay, while we're doing that, I'm going to introduce our head of HCM Analytics at Oracle, Manisha Gupta. She has been a collaborator of mine for over 5 years, an author in this space, a thought leader in this space, and really just a wonderful perspective about the power of data on people and how you should be thinking about it. So here is
the results.
What's the number one?
So we've got all of the above at 60%. So Manisha, I think it's been proved right. But at the top we have talent acquisitions heads, but heads of department coming in just under that, HR analysts coming in under that, and then I think the next biggest is managers in general, which I think illustrates your point perfectly, Manisha. So I will stop talking and hand over.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Maddie, and thank you so much, Rich. I love what we saw at the survey right now. So I would say we all hope eventually the answer for all of you is going to be all of the above, because there is power in people analytics for both sides of the equation, definitely all the HR leaders, as well as all the management leaders or people leaders, right? But like we saw, Rich read out, I think the number one was talent acquisition. So it often does happen. It's a cyclical movement. If you are right now finding yourself in a hiring phase, you may feel the head of talent acquisition and maybe some line managers or head of departments need it most. But imagine like when COVID happened, a lot of people were not recruiting at that point. People analytics, head of departments always will be in that equation, but we will have head of workforce analytics or some other titles looking at it. But in general, overall, it ends up being all of them. So hopefully you're seeing it, and hopefully you'll see that soon. With that, why don't we move to the next slide? So yeah, we thought we'll just maybe start today's session as well as we started, and we had a very lovely conversation with multiple of our customers at CloudWorld as well. That how do we look at HCM analytics, right? And HR as a field itself grew from a fragmented to a consolidated space. And we started as just recruiting, just benefits, just payroll, just compensation. And now if you see Oracle Cloud offers all of them, because when we look at managing our workforce, which by the way, could be anywhere between 40 to 80% of our OPEX, a pretty high ticket item. We need to be able to address all these aspects, right? And so what happens, like you have these multiple titles and growing in the human resource department. And again, depending on which industry, which geography, which maturity phase you are in your growth journey, you may see these titles evolving and changing. But the bottom line is anybody who's helping you manage the workforce will see value in HR analytics, and we help all of them. At the same time, we are very cognizant of the fact that these investments in people are about hiring the right people, retaining the right people, and then growing the right people for your organization. So people leaders, whether it's at the executive level, at the head, sometimes even the board, or head of departments, or straight away line managers, they all see value, and they are craving to get more and more insights on their people. So while one of them, HR, is focused on centralized governance, so the definition of ethics, the definition of what is high performance remains consistent. People leaders are using this information to drive their business outcomes. So HCM Analytics is HR Analytics and People Analytics, and we cater to both. This slide, as you can see, I ran out of space. So this is the coverage we today have on Fusion HCM Analytics. Complete core, right? So all aspects of core, headcount, attrition, all aspects of diversity and inclusion. I'll talk a little bit more about it. Let's just go back to the previous slide for a second. So one thing which Oracle, we have done, I would say, very well in building our people analytics and our HCM analytics solution is we don't see diversity and inclusion as a module in a standalone manner. We look at this as an aspect of how you manage your workforce. So no matter which business process you look in your organization, whether it's recruiting or retention or performance or compensation, you will see our product is able to help you answer D&I questions. And that is why those 400 plus customers are, liking the business questions that we are able to answer. Again, so all core, all aspects of diversity, we have full coverage for all talent modules today, and we are growing our coverage on the workforce rewards. We already have compensation, salaries, payroll balance. We're looking at payroll costing. So this slide will keep growing on, but as of right now, it's almost 90% coverage. So thanks, Rich, for getting back to this one. Let's move to the next one. I'm going to highlight a few of those yellow boxes. So D&I, again, like D&I is talk of the town. D&I is important for ethical reasons. It's also important for compliance reasons. And believe it or not, it's also important for economic reasons, because when we have cognitive diverse thinking in our teams, we see innovation fostering. How do we help you ensure that whether it's for compliance or innovative or economic reasons, you have it? The product has coverage for diversity across all business processes from recruit to retire. We have pre-built dashboards in the product, and we also have advanced analytics. We call it diversity analysis, which is an anomaly detection and can help you identify if there is a group which has like a bias against a protected group. So women in the middle of Texas, whenever we are hiring, for example, engineers, we see a bias in this management team. And using these insights, you can coach those managers, or you can understand maybe it's the right thing to do in Texas because the skills you're looking for may not be right. But first step is insights, right? So you start with insights, take some action, end with insights, and you're able to get that through and through on D&I. Let's move to the next one, Rich. So Sinlet, Andrew Deenan, he, if you don't know him, find a way to know him, reach out to us. We have enough recordings from Andrew. He is through and through. He lives in New Zealand, as he says, in the middle of nowhere, but a very beautiful place in a farm. Sinlet is, yeah, we know the story, right? So Sinlet is in milk production. They grew 40% in COVID because everybody wanted to bake cakes. This is his words. And in that pretty looking place, Andrew is driving the D&I at the board level, right? So, and he's using the insights. In fact, we came up with even deeper insights. We are looking at mashing up surveys and organization network analysis with HCM data. So extensible data and HCM data to identify if there are brokers. Is it happening that senior SVPs are only talking to male in the organization? Influencers are brokers. Are they talking to women as well, or are they not talking? Are they even aware that the influencers are women? So we're like, there's a lot that can be done under the hoods, and Andrew is using the product to drive those conversations forward. Again, for a milk producing company in New Zealand, under that beautiful looking mountain somewhere. So we can do a lot with this information ourselves. Okay, let's move on. All right, so from DNI, Ellen, learning analytics, right? So again, two aspects. One aspect is my organization just spent 70% or X million dollars in learning. What did I get out of it? That is the top question your L&D head probably is asking. On the other hand, your people leaders or people managers are looking for building teams, catering to specific initiatives. I'm looking at, let's say, building a team of AI experts, or, hey, I need to sell a lot this quarter to meet my quota, so I'm looking for seniors. Whatever it might be, whether the answer is for making sure skills are available and we are upskilling our team, or it is about the budget investments we have made, both of those sets of people are looking for business questions to be answered. And we answer all those questions and a lot more out of the box, because we know learning is an important investment as well as an important tool for us to upskill our team. It's also an important area of investment when it comes to internal mobility, right? So career growth or succession planning. You can hire, Oracle does that. Many of our customers do that. We hire smart folks from college and then we grow them. They become loyal over a period of 20 years. Some of them become SVPs and more and more, and a lot of it leans on L&D or learning investments. So you can get those answers out of the box and you can do a lot more. And then finally, imagine mashing up those learning analytics with everything else. So our learners in the organization staying longer, our learners in the organization performing better, our learners in the organization collaborating better. Who are the learners? Does learning stop after an age, after a specific tenure? I would say, ask a question. If you don't have the answer in the product, we will make it available to you soon. So do reach out to us. And we love answering those questions. We love taking up those challenges. So do that. My fun journey, like Rich mentioned, he's a teacher. I too am a lecturer in UC Davis. My fun journey in people analytics is, it's not a field that has been with us for 20 plus years. Financials has been there with 100 plus. Sales and marketing also has been there. We are toddlers, but probably the fastest growing toddler for the last 20 years. There's a ton of interesting questions not yet answered, but the answers are now available because technology is now available. So reach out to us. If the answer is not there, we'll make it available. Okay, so on that note, let's come to survey analytics. I'm yet to come across a single HR team, I would say globally, who does not use surveys, right? Whether it's Excel, or it's Glint, or it's SurveyMonkey, or it's Qualtrics, or it's a homegrown proprietary software, doesn't matter. We have been using engagement surveys annually. Now many of us are moving to ongoing surveys. So we may call it check-in, we may call it questionnaire, doesn't matter what we call it, but we are asking questions from our teams, both structured and unstructured, to understand their sentiment. Now, numerical answers on a range of 1 to 10 tell me how happy you are, how long you'll stay. Easy to interpret. But there's a lot of depth in those unstructured questions. Is there 3 things you would like us to take care of? What would you change if you were leading this team? There's a lot of intelligence. There's a lot of insights in those data, which some of our HRBPs and HR analysts would spend as much as 30 plus hours, scanning through and then presenting, if at all. We have used technology, machine learning, to tap into those using key phrase extraction, sentiment analysis. So some people are in France, some are in Germany, some are in India, some are in the US. How do I, in an English language, tell you what the sentiment is across? Well, you need to do the translation, then sentiment analysis, right? If I understand, people are unhappy, your next question is, why are they unhappy? Well, then you need to have chaining or linking of words and chaining of sentiment. They're unhappy because of manager or because of lack of career opportunities. these answers are in those insights. So this is a preview feature right now, actually, even earlier stage. We have worked with multiple customers, half a dozen now, who are loving this, and they're loving being able to mash it up with their HCM data insights to then say, okay, people who are engaged are performing better, staying longer. And we will soon be productizing it. Again, if this is of interest, reach out. We will find a way to make this available for you as well, even in its early stages. But super powerful feature. I'm very excited about this one.
Very cool.
Let's move on. I'll run fast in the interest of time. Okay, so now we've talked about learning. These are the newest modules that I'm talking about right now. There's a lot more, as you saw on the previous slide. So from learning, we have taught our folks, we have understood their sentiments. Well, finance, eventually it all rolls out to money. So payroll insights are very important. And payroll, I would say, in our world is probably the element of my job which keeps me awake at night, because you don't have the luxury of getting payroll wrong. Payroll, some of us run every week, sometimes multiple times a week, sometimes different ways of running it for full-time versus college hires versus our executives. So it gets complicated. And what's important for us is trends, right? So year-to-date trends, period ago trends, variance in what I expected to happen versus what exactly I'm paying people. Retrospective reconciliation. So Manisha has moved on from title A to title B, but when I look at her reconciliation today, I want to look at what she was getting paid, in title A, not as of right now. These are answers which came to us as, like, I would say, almost pent-up demand. HCM Cloud Insights, OTBI, is not meant to answer these questions, because that is about current state of affairs, current operational state of affairs. So very proud to say, like, my team members, Nupur, Raghu, Gunvansh, they work pretty hard, especially Nupur in this case, to make this available. And we are able to answer time trends. We are able to help you with the variance analysis. We are able to get all retrospective reconciliation. Anybody who has seen it, I would say, has been super excited. So if you have not seen Payroll Insights yet, do make sure that you at least get a demo, even if you're not ready for it right now. I think the demo will make you feel like you want to be ready to get it. So, so again, reach out to us. Okay, so finally, if you remember what we started the story earlier was, HR wants to have these insights on their fingertips so they are able to help the leaders across, right?
Oh, sorry.
No problem. But at the same time, for us to run our business and grow our business, it's really about enabling people, leaders, and people in managers in the organization. So this is a view of team effectiveness where we started our business from first release itself, but with every release we make this beefier and beefier, because eventually our bottom line that we're trying to get to is being able to answer some of these tough questions which have been in debates for a long time, but not answerable using data and insights. But Oracle, with this product, has made it possible to get to those insights, right? So understand the people trends for your organization, understand why one team might be doing better than others, understand why one manager seems to have a higher retention rate or engagement than others. This is one single view. There's plenty of them. I don't have the luxury of covering all of them today, but change those columns that you see in that heat map, and you'll see being able to correlate different KPIs and metrics across multiple managers. Each row is a manager there, or across multiple, of the KPIs that you want to trend, and you'll get those answers. I'll leave you with one thing: when we deal with people, insights are important, but we are subjective, right? So you don't have like a single key of like, oh, it's compensation, which is a problem across all the teams. Your question may exactly be the same, but the answer may be, for team A, it's diversity. For team B, it's compensation. For team C, it's career opportunities. And so insights become even more important for us, not at the aggregate level, but even at a granular level, for us to take the right actions. So we end up hiring, retaining, and growing the right folks and making the best out of our people investments. And like I always like to say, it's people who drive profits. So please do make sure you're making the right investments and reach out to us, any of them.
No
Thank
session
you so
goes
much.
uncovered without that point.
No.
It's the first time I've ever heard you say HR is dawdlers. Like I'm not. Yeah,
No.
I think
HR analytics. We are toddlers. We're figuring
analytics.
out
Yeah.
what we want to call ourselves, and we are figuring out how to
It just means that there's a low bar to cross, right? That by partnering with us, we can help you, go from the heel to toe, right? That's my sense on it.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Manisha. As always, love your insights and perspectives, and thank you for your time. I know you're not feeling well, so have a good evening, and we will chat with you. If there's questions, please don't forget to put them in the Q&A. We will we'll try to answer as many as we can in line or just following. So with that, I'm going to change gears a little bit, and we're going to ask a quick question and then share a recent customer story just from last month. So
the question we've got going at the moment is slightly different to on the slide. So the question is, what could your organization gain from a system providing sales, marketing quotes, and finance data all blended into one place? And I haven't been nice and given you an all of the above.
Nice.
So we're actually forcing a decision on this one, I'm afraid.
No easy out.
No easy out today. I know it is a Thursday. Okay, we've got 8%, so I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. Rich, while that's going, do you want to introduce Naren?
Yeah, certainly. So our next speaker is Naren Chawla, who is a force to be reckoned with in an area we refer to as revenue intelligence. And the essence of that is creating an end-to-end process, connecting all of these functions. And Naren's been a thought leader in our space, both in designing solutions and also in transforming Oracle. Oracle's starting to use our own analytics across the company, and a lot of that started in the sales and marketing area with Naren's direction. So why don't we do a quick poll and results on that?
Absolutely. So results-wise, we've got the ability to analyze the entire revenue funnel from leads to cash and identify leads as number one top dog. Coming in second, we've got identify the revenue impact of different marketing channels and determine more attribution. And then tying for third place, we've got determine the optimal pricing and discount strategy, and then ability to acquire customers with lower cost and higher lifetime value. So that is for the benefit of the recording. And we will now change over to a customer video.
Okay. And then we'll turn it right over to you, Naren, in just a second. So this is a recent customer.
Everybody relies on our equipment to function properly and how it's designed. We're spread out all throughout all industries. I mean, even NASA has some of our ejectors on site, which they use in their test facility. One of the big challenges that we were facing was we wanted to look at specific information that was located in the Oracle cloud. And in order to do that, we'd have an analyst pull that data out and put it into spreadsheets. And setting that up was taking hours and hours each week. And so now that we're using this CX Fusion Analytics, I mean, we can just click a button and all that data is right there. It's saving us hours of work, and it's a lot more accurate than before too. The big reports that we do are a sales report. We're able to find out when the project is closing, what the likelihood of us winning is. And so we present that off to our executive management. They're able to review it. They're able to get a little bit more detail out of it than our previous reports that we were doing in Excel. The automation in Oracle CX is about 5 times faster, and it produces a lot more accurate results than we were doing manually.
So, first of all, I would just say super happy to have, sorry. No.
Everybody relies.
Sorry. Super happy to have Graham on as our first live customer for CX. I thought the purpose for this next section would be to talk a little bit about what is this concept of revenue intelligence, Naren, that you've been advocating around the world, and talk a little bit about what we have today, who some of the consumers are, and where we're headed going, from here. So welcome. Great to have you. By the way, for all those on the phone, the team is in 7 different time zones today. So we have pretty much most of the Western part of the world on in a single session for you. So welcome, Naren. Great to have you.
Thank you, Rich. Yeah, I'm sitting here in Half Moon Bay overlooking the Pacific Ocean in the conference room while I'm doing this, just to give context. But anyway, so I think to your question, what is revenue intelligence, right? I think, those polling questions that we did, they actually answered it, right? So 56%, if I remember, need an ability to analyze the entire funnel. And that's exactly what this product is about. So Rich, if you don't mind, if you go to the next slide. And this is pretty much it, right? All of you guys in the revenue generation capabilities, you will be very intimate with this process, if I may, right? So it starts with running your marketing campaigns. We generate leads, and then leads convert into an opportunity. We run a sales cycles, and within the sales cycle, the customer is interested. So you start the quoting process, and then you go back and forth on discounting and things like that. That has its own mini cycle, if I may. You win the deal, we create a contract, goes to order management and supply chain. And from there, you end up in billing and invoicing your customers, right? So this is the entire funnel. And frankly, all of you guys use some combination of different systems. For example, some of you might use Oracle Loco for marketing, Sales Cloud to run your sales cycle, supply chain management for order management, CPQ and subscription, and of course, ERP or e-business suite, right? So this is where the fundamental problem is. So if you go to the next slide, Rich. So all of this are disconnected data and system. Very often, we hear from our customers, they want to combine sales data with marketing data, sales data with quotes data, finance data, so they can answer all this question. And that is the concept of revenue intelligence. What we have done is we have unified this into one system, if I may. So we can unify data coming from your front office, mid office, and back office. Front office is your marketing automation CRM system. Mid office is CPQ and subscription, and back office, of course, ERP and supply chain. So what we have done is that we have brought or blended all this data together. Rich, if you go to the next slide, into one place. So first of all, acquiring data from this multiple system, that is a challenging task as well. Perhaps some of you guys have tried doing this using a data warehouse and things like that. You know how difficult it is to understand what APIs to use, how do I extract the data, problem number one. Once you have this data, you need to create like a cross CX analytical or a semantic model, if I may, because you want to join this. So for example, if you run a campaign, it generates multiple opportunities, and the same contact might show up in different campaigns. So you want to do the right attribution, so the right joining needs to happen over there. And what we have done is, okay, once we extract the data, we have meticulously created the data model. They can join sales, marketing, quotes, finance. So you can have an account 360 or a customer 360 view, if I may, right? More importantly, you can start answering all kind of questions. So if you go to the next slide, Rich. Now, once we have covered this revenue funnel that we talked about, right? We have all this data. Now we can start looking at your entire revenue funnel and see where the leaks might be, right? There might be some deals, for example, that are at risk, for example, right? There must be some white spaces from a product perspective. Bottom line is you can understand your entire revenue person. You learn from your revenue to grow your revenue. Next slide, Rich. Yeah, these are some examples of the dashboards that we provide out of the box. So some of you guys are new to this product. So our product is like a SaaS BI product. So as opposed to building it yourself, we have a lot of out-of-box insights and reports and dashboards that we ship as part of the product. This is one example of it. This is all curated. And our hope is that a lot of this pre-built metrics that we have, you should be able to use on day one. Next slide, Rich. Yeah, this is again like a drill down. So I think when you guys look at the demo of the product, you can see that you can go from top to bottom very easily, and then kind of try to figure out the root cause, if I may. And the idea is the system is designed for a business user. So you can basically, for example, if you're losing in particular quarter, what might be the reasons, if the salesperson is the product, and so on and so forth. And any level of detail you can get there is because of the underlying semantic model that we have. Next slide, Rich. So that hopefully gives you a good idea of why we need this product. What is the pain point or the challenges that we are trying to solve with the product. Now, in terms of which personas will use this product. So if you look at your entire revenue-based system, revenue-based organization, you have frontline people, right? Your sellers, you have marketing managers, and so on and so forth. And then you have operation people from sales ops, marketing ops, finance ops, and of course you have the executive. Now, there are two fundamental needs for this stakeholders. One is visibility and is rigor. So if you're a frontline seller, you probably need more visibility into your pipeline, into your campaigns, whether the campaigns are running or not, right? At the same time, if you are in the other functions from operations and management, you need more rigor, right? What is working, what is not working, what is the campaign ROI, for example. So that's where I think this product plays a huge role. It's a sweet spot for the product because we have a warehouse, we can have historical data, you can look your pipeline moving quarter over quarter for the past 5 years, for example. You can combine this data together and start asking all kind of different questions. Now, in terms of use cases, so okay, we understand the product, what it does, what are the personas, what do we see from key use cases for this product. So having talked to multiple customers, I have seen three big buckets of this. So number one is revenue transformation. So now I'm able to look at my sales data, my quotes data, my finance data. I can figure out, am I quoting the right price? Am I quoting the right discount? Is it the optimal discount? What are my margins? I can do my profitability analysis. Who are my most profitable customer, right? And then we can also look at in terms of are we acquiring profitable customers, right? So that I think is fundamentally, if you can think of using this analytics, you can actually increase your top line revenue. And I just want to point out there's a compounding impact. If you use the system and if you even just move your revenue by 0.1% on each period, let's say quarterly or yearly, it compounds itself. So every quarter, if you do slight increase, it will keep on compounding, and next thing you know, you're double the revenue. So that is the power of it. And marketing effectiveness, customers want really which channels, which sub-channels. They want to bring the budget data, they want to bring the revenue data together. So we can actually put some, help marketing to understand, how their dollars are converting into revenue. And then in marketing, there are multiple touches. This webinar, for example, is one of the touch, trying to figure out which actually touches an asymmetrical impact on your business. And finally, having a quick, strong handle on your pipeline, trying to create predictable revenues, looking at white spaces in terms of product mix and things like that. So fundamentally, all this product does is it helps you this class of use cases that are listed over here. So back to you, Rich. I think you're on mute.
On mute, but I think we're heading into a poll anyway, which is my territory, I'm afraid. Are you happy for me to jump in and launch that, Rich? Oh, on mute again. I guess it's time to go. Fabulous. So
fire away, Maddie. Sorry.
No problem. So for our ERP and SCM Analytics poll, the question we are asking the audience is, which of these Fusion Analytics out-of-the-box business benefits are most important to your organization? Again, no all of the above option, but the options available are reducing Maverick spend, increased cash optimization, improving project profitability through cost control, and improving revenue with order accuracy. And I will give that a couple of minutes to run while Rich introduces the lovely Matt Garibaldi.
Absolutely. No, all of the above. Fantastic. So next topic is around ERP and supply chain analytics. And introduce you to Matt Garibaldi. Many of you know him already. Matt's on my team and looks after the analytics strategy overall, and has developed a program for our existing Oracle Fusion customers called the Innovation Sprint, which we'll get to at the end. I asked him to do a quick substitute for Ash, who is the product owner for ERP and supply chain, but Matt has great context and work with dozens of our customers and drag me around the world to support him in that effort. Anyways.
So before I let Matt take it away, I'll just quickly go over the results. When it comes to which business benefits of Fusion Analytics content is considered most important in general, we've got improving project profitability through cost control coming up top. And then that is closely followed by improving revenue with order accuracy and increased cash optimization, with Maverick spend coming surprisingly low at 10%. But with that, I will hand over to Matt. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah,
right.
Thanks. Thanks, Maddie, and thanks everybody for taking time out of your days to join us here. The reason I asked that poll question, or we asked that poll question, I'm glad that you all led with project profitability, because we'll be covering that in the next couple slides here with ERP and supply chain analytics. Was one of our big announcements at Cloud World. But with Fusion Analytics, a lot of our customers that we'll speak about here, along with the time to value and the speed that the product delivers from the out-of-the-box contents, these business benefits that come with each module also add that additional potential benefit for our customers. So I just wanted to keep that in mind for everybody that joined us here in the webinar today. And really coming out of Cloud World, Rich, it's been, I think, 2 years since we've had a conference like Cloud World, seeing our customers in person. And I think the favorite part of my role, and likewise for a lot of you, is hearing from our customers and the value that Fusion Analytics delivers on a daily, weekly basis, and how it makes our customers' jobs and lives easier when it comes to day-to-day tasks. So there's many customer stories that we could talk about from Cloud World. Rich, I think we met with 50 or so customers in a 4-day.
I don't know. Lost track.
But again, from the Analytics for Breakfast panel to the customer speaking sessions to the thought leadership sessions, these two really stuck out to me personally. Were Magic Communications and dunnhumby. Both spoke at Cloud Worlds back in October. And I'll start with the Magic Communications on the left. They're an ERP and supply chain analytics customer. And it's just a little bit of background on what they do. They provide software and network gearing for media companies. So really optimizing advertisement placements for media companies throughout the United States. Based in Dallas, Texas. They were live on Cloud ERP and supply chain for about a year before they started evaluating Fusion Analytics. And they faced a lot of similar challenges a lot of our customers, a lot of our cloud application customers deal with. They were having trouble with C-suite management reporting, having multiple disparate analytics platform solutions throughout the organization, and the overall total cost of ownership and delivering executive level insights on a weekly basis. So they were using MicroStrategy as their BI platform. They were doing manual data extracts, so big data extracts from our cloud ERP and supply chain applications, from Salesforce, from EBS. And the overall process to do that became such a significant challenge as they went into these CFO and CEO meetings, where they needed that performance of how Imagine was doing on a quarter by quarter basis in those management meetings. So there just became an overall trust of the data issue for that executive suite. They were doing a lot of manual work to make sure the data was right before making decisions on what the future entailed for Magic Communications. And with Fusion Analytics, you hear Patrick in the video. Maddie will share the link from Cloud World. Patrick just talks about how logically Fusion Analytics was the right solution of choice, because it really gained that trust factor back for the CFO. They were the key areas they were focused on were financial analytics, so profitability analysis to see how revenue was trending, operating costs were trending through a quarter-to-quarter basis. And Fusion Analytics in their first wave delivered that on day one. So they were able to bring in ERP analytics, the CFO, the CEO can drill down to the transactional level detail with ERP analytics whenever they want throughout the day. And with management meetings, they're able to make strategic decisions knowing they can trust the data, because just how cloud ERP is their system of record, Fusion Analytics acts as their system of insight. So that was their first wave. They just went live on their supply chain analytics, order accuracy and order management for supply chain analytics for top of mind for Patrick and team. And wave 3, just how Naren was talking about revenue intelligence, they actually plan to bring in data from Salesforce into Fusion Analytics for revenue intelligence as well. It's a popular use case for extensibility for ERP analytics customers. The second customer I want to talk about is dunnhumby. dunnhumby is a data science company for a lot of large retailers globally. So McDonald's, 7-Eleven, Tesco in the UK. They're based in London in the UK. We actually met them at our Fusion Analytics Roadshow last week. Rich and I met with Andrew Frater, you see on the screen here, and Giorgio Tincinelli on their Fusion Analytics deployments. Rich previously mentioned them earlier, but the quote again was from Andrew: in a matter of 48 hours, they were able to go live with ERP analytics. So it truly is that fast to load the data from our cloud applications into Fusion Analytics. And with dunnhumby, likewise for Magic Communications, they were live since 2015. Fusion Analytics was released in 2018. They tried to do this hodgepodge of third-party BI tools, third-party ETL tools. And you can hear Andrew, Maddie will share the link in this video too. You can hear Andrew talk about how much money and costs were going into the resources to develop these dashboards, or even try to get there over that 3-year time period before Fusion Analytics was released. And the fact that Fusion Analytics delivered the subject areas and the KPIs in 48 hours really blew Andrew's minds. They've been one of our biggest advocates over in Europe for Fusion Analytics. And instead of having to do those manual data extracts out of our cloud applications, Fusion Analytics automated the whole process for them. Their main focus areas were financial analytics, sales analytics, and HR analytics. So it was a really great case. They estimated they saved each of their finance, HR, and sales employees 1 hour each per day that they were spending trying to manual mash up data with another third-party BI tool with Excel. So the costs and the time savings and the productivity were substantial at dunnhumby. So those were the customer stories that stuck out. Now, Rich, we did also announce several features that came out at Cloud World as well that have been top of mind for a lot of our customers. Project analytics, just like I mentioned in Magic Communications, we're going into their wave 3 projects is top of mind for them as well. A lot of our customers in the professional services industry, high tech industry are project-based companies, and having that insight in on how projects are performing compared to their allocated budget was huge for these types of clients of ours. And with projects, you as a PMO, so all your PMOs as a customer, your project managers can get that 360-degree view, how they're performing against the margins for that specific project. You can flag high-risk projects based on the costs that are going into that specific projects and the data that you receive from project analytics. So project analytics comes with ERP analytics. It has provided our customers a project-driven supply chain view of the business as well. So you can actually bring in data from supply chain analytics and HR to kind of analyze your labor costs per project, inventory management and supplies that are going to that specific project. All those different factors that go into making a project successful and profitable are within project analytics. And it's going to be one of the top of mind features for our ERP analytics customers at our project space. So that was a big announcement for ERP analytics. Some of the KPIs that come out of the box, I think there's 80 plus now for project analytics for the first release. So project revenue, project margin, project cost, you can see all the different ones in our Content Explorer and what's included. But that was the big announcement for ERP analytics. Again, Magic Communications, an example of a customer that will be using that. And then finally, before I turn it back to you, Rich, the big announcement for supply chain analytics as Rich mentioned, we run an innovation sprint program where we have a trial environment that you can actually test your own data in the Fusion Analytics application. And cost accounting has been a big area for a lot of our supply chain analytics sprints that we've been doing. It seems like obviously knowing the cost book for each different division from a supply chain standpoint is vital to the business, vital for setting prices for your products. And cost accounting was the big announcement and big release for supply chain analytics there. So that was a long time coming. Glad it's here. It's going to help a lot of our customers out that have been asking for it. And if you go to the next slide, Rich, some of the key sources and source transactions for cost accounting. From inventory, it goes from purchase orders transactions to sales order transactions. AR is more about revenue recognition for COGS recognition, AP, invoice price variance, manufacturing, work order variances, costing, cost adjustments, and more. So those are really the big releases from Cloud World and some of our customer stories. But I hope that provided you, if you're a cloud ERP or supply chain customer out there, with the reasons why our customers are going down this journey in the first place. I hope those stories kind of highlighted why, and these new releases helped with where we're going with the product. So back to you, Rich.
Thank you, Matt. And I recognize we're very close on time here. There's lots of ways that you can engage with our team, and I think you can get a sense by the spirit of the folks today that we want to hear your feedback. We want to collaborate with you and address your needs and make our product better. There's online communities, there's conferences that we speak at. There's always ways to engage with our team. I'll just close by just saying that the program that Matt created at Oracle called the Analytic Innovation Sprint has been wildly successful, and over 100 companies have been through the process. In 10 working days, we stand up 10 metrics for 10 users. You have it free for 30. And ultimately, our value proposition is speed. And so what better way to do that than to illustrate it? We've got an agile DevOps process that we work with you, and it requires a small amount of your time, and you get access to our experts and our technology on your data. So with that, I would like to thank you for your participation. If we did not answer your questions in the chat, I know there's a few remaining that we haven't yet got to. We'll try to get to those before we close the webcast. But if you didn't get a chance to get your questions answered, just search for Rich Clayton on LinkedIn, or just contact me, rich.clayton@oracle.com. I'm certain that we can get answers to your questions and help you achieve the outcomes that you discussed earlier through the polls today. With that, I wish you a happy holiday season, health and happiness next year. And we look forward to talking more with each of you. Have a wonderful holiday. We'll talk to you soon.